Hi everyone, it's Cyrus here. Welcome to the next episode of the Boxica podcast. Super excited for this one. It's me on my own, and I'm going to be talking about staying on track on the weekends. So why am I talking about this today? Well, in my experience, I touched on this as well slightly in a previous podcast. In my experience, where people go wrong with their goals of getting in shape, it's on the weekends. So I've got some tips and some tricks to share with you guys, and I'm going to explain why it's so important to stay on track over the weekend and how we can implement things that we love to do, yummy food, whatever it might be, and stay on track to reach your goals, because that's what it's all about. Eating food you love, having a good time, but still staying on track towards your goals, not ruining the whole thing. Okay, so we'll get straight into it, how to stay on track on the weekend. So first of all, why do you want to stay on track over the weekends? Why is it so important? Well, I'm going to get my calculator out for this one because I'm not very good at math in my head. So, on weekends, let's go back a bit further. So, I've been coaching nutrition now for many years. I've coached hundreds of people with nutrition, and I've seen, everything and anything. One very consistent aspect that I've seen come up many times is people struggling with weekends. Generally, staying on. And I've struggled with this myself as well. You stay on track during the week. You're in a routine. You've got your work going on, and then the weekend comes, and you relax, and your habits relax as well. Your training habits, your nutrition habits, and you just generally, like to have a good time on the weekend. It's the weekend after all, right? That's the whole point. And I found that a sticking point with many people that I've worked with, and also including myself, has been the weekend. It's quite easy to stay on track during the work week. Sunday to Thursday, you've got your work schedule, you've got your meals planned, you've got your favorite places that you like to eat or healthy meals that you like to have, and you're generally in that mindset of, right, it's the week, I'm getting my training in, and everything's all good. And if your goal is fat loss, for example, you can make progress over the 5 days during the week, and then on the weekend, quite easily wipe that week's worth of work out. If not, go backwards even more, maybe 2 weeks. And this is a huge reason why people consistently gain weight. And unfortunately, people don't realize, or you don't realize really until you see yourself in the mirror one day and you're just like, oh, what happened? You don't see the small daily changes of weight gain happen. You realize when it's too late. And the same thing happens when you're losing weight, actually. You're losing weight, you're getting in shape, and you're like, oh, I'm not really changing. And then all of a sudden, you see a before and after picture, and you're like, wow, I have really changed, right? I know a lot of you on the fight camp can relate to that. So, why is it so important to stay on track on the weekends? Why are weekends so deadly when it's, when you're talking about staying in shape and reaching your fitness and nutrition goals? Well, let's say on average on the weekend, let's do two examples. Like the first example is, I'm going to go moderately overeating. Okay, let's say you overeat by 1,000 calories a day, right? Let's say, for example, right, average calorie intake is 2,000. You eat 3,000 calories on Friday and Saturday, yeah, the weekend, right? So you're overeating by 1,000 calories per day on a Friday and a Saturday. So that's 2,000 calories a week you are overeating. You're bang on from Sunday to Thursday, but then 2 days a week, you overeat by 1,000 calories. So that's 2,000 calories a week. And you might be thinking, I don't eat by 1,000, a whole 1,000 calories on the weekend. Trust me, easily done. 1,000 calories is nothing over your goal. So times that 2,000, so 2,000 a week, 4 weeks in a month, times 4, that's 8,000 calories a month over what you need. Okay, to maintain your current body weight, as the example of 2,000 calories, which is like a nice general average calorie intake. Obviously, the calorie intake for you is very specific, but we'll use 2,000 as an example. It's a nice, easy number to use. Okay, 8,000 calories per per month you're over consuming by. So in the example of 2,000 calories, you're actually eating 4 days over what you actually need in a month. Imagine that. 4 whole days worth of food are going in your mouth in a month, extra, right? Not needed. If you go into the year, so it's 8,000 a month times 12, that's 96,000 calories a year you're over consuming just by overeating by 1,000 calories 2 days a week. Okay, so 96,000 divided by 2,000, which is what you need in a day. It's 48 days a year you are over consuming just by eating 1,000 calories over what you need 2 days a week. Okay, so this is just 48 days. That's that's a lot. And this is a big reason why, or it is the reason why people gain weight. They consistently eat more calories than what they need. And like I said, I found in my experience that the weekends is typically when this happens. So, I get people say all the time, no, I eat good, my diet's good, but the person that's talking to me is a little bit overweight. Okay, so something's happening somewhere that the energy needs to go into the body to get converted into body fat and stored, right? So 48 days. Now, 1,000 calories overeating a day, even if you say you're overeating by 1,000 a week, not 2,000, even just 1 day a week, you're still, that's half that. You're still overeating by 24 days in a year, just by overeating 1,000 calories a week. 1,000 calories is nothing, right? So, and now that's being conservative. Maybe some weekends you do only overeat by 1,000 calories. Maybe some weekends you overeat by 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories. Imagine by the end of the year you've done 2 months worth of food in excess, not needed. Okay, actually 3,000 calories a week, that's 1,500 calories a day overeating, 2 days a week, times by through the whole year, you're 72 days. You're eating 72 days more than what's actually needed. That's over 2 months worth of food. It's ridiculous. This is why I like breaking it down like this, because it actually makes you realize, especially when you see it on paper. I've got this notebook in front of me and I've written all this down earlier. It makes you realize. In the same sense though, so this is why it's so important to stay on track over the weekends. It adds up, right? That even that 1,000 calories a week overeating is 24 days overconsumption in a year period, right? And that's why usually people will go through years of just, not really paying attention to their nutrition, having a good time on the weekend, and 5 or 6 years later, they'll look at themselves in the mirror and be like, damn, what happened? So this is why it happens, and this is why we're talking about this today. So now you understand how important it is to stay on track over the weekend. I've got 10 tips to give you which will help you stay on track on the weekend and not gain weight. And this is, I briefed on it when I introduced the podcast. It's not about being a monk and eating, chicken breast and broccoli all over the weekend and being not having a good old time. You can within these guidelines. So, number 1, track your calorie intake. Okay, if you have gained a little bit of weight, or you're wondering why you can't take it to the next level, or you just want to lose a couple of pounds, or you want to fuel your body adequately, maybe you feel tired, you feel like you haven't got enough energy, so many reasons why you're not sleeping well at night. Okay, there's so many reasons why you should track your calorie intake, if not for a long period of time, at least for a short period of time, just so you get an idea of how much you're eating and how much you should eat. So tracking your calorie intake is the key to staying on track over the weekends, especially if you've got a sweet tooth or if you like to eat certain things that are very high in calories, right? Tracking your calorie intake is the first bit. You need to know how many calories your body requires to stay its current body weight, or to lose weight, or to gain weight. Okay, because if you don't know about that, then, and you don't know what calories are in the food, then you've got no idea what's happening. Very few people can just not track their intake and just maintain a lean body just naturally. It's called intuitive eating. You just eat when you're hungry. You're really in tune with your body, and you're lean, fit, and healthy automatically. Some people do have that. A lot of people have nice, fast metabolisms. They eat lots of healthy food. They've done it for a very long period of time. They're very in tune with the body. Fantastic. If you typically do, gain weight easily, or you feel like, you're not sleeping too well, or you don't have the energy, or you feel like your nutrition needs a little bit of focus, tracking your calories will help you. Okay, like I said, it doesn't have to be for a very long period of time. It could be just a short period of time, just to give you an idea, and then you carry on from there. So, tracking your calorie intake. We do that on MyFitnessPal. That's the app I like to use. Sign up on the app, put your information in. Everything you eat, you just log it into the diary, and it'll give you an idea, right? Then the other side of that is knowing how many calories you actually need. And there's calculators for that online. I'm going to link in the show notes for this, so you can click on the link. I linked it up in my previous podcast as well. See how many calories you need. Put that goal of calories into MyFitnessPal, and then start logging your food. It's that simple. Okay, it's not difficult to do. So that's the first step to staying on track on the weekends. So you've gone on the link. You find out how many calories you need. You've gone into MyFitnessPal. You've loaded up those goals into MyFitnessPal. You start eating food. You start logging the quantities into the app. First step done. Second step for staying on track on the weekends is move more. Okay, you cannot out-train a bad diet, but you can minimize the damage by burning more. Like, for example, it doesn't work exactly like this, but just as an example, right? Let's say we go back to the 1,000 calories a week overconsumption, which is 24 days in a year. If you just did 1,000 calories more exercise on the weekend, then you're going to negate that and you'll stay in shape, right? So moving on the weekends is a good tip in the long term to stay in shape. You know that typically on the weekend you might slip up here and there, so why not move a little bit more and yeah, just make up for those excess calories. So ways to do that: hitting your steps every day, doing a step count. Let's say you do a step count of 10,000 during the normal work week, and you up that to 15 or 20,000 on the weekend. You make sure you're doing activities that just require you to move more, right? Pick activities with your family or your partner, or on your own, or your friends, or whatever, that require you to move and burn more calories. Scheduling in your exercise on the weekend is a great way to make sure that you're planning your week. Make sure that a couple of your sessions are on the weekend. You've got more time, you're not in work, it makes sense. And yeah, you're going to negate some of the excess food that you're going to eat as well. So moving more on the weekend is number 2. Swiftly moving on, number 3, save your calories, banking calories. Okay, so saving calories and banking calories. What do I mean by this? Huge one, saving calories. So you've got 2,000 calories for the day. You're in MyFitnessPal, and you know that it's Friday, and you're going to go out for dinner with your family, for lunch or for dinner or whatever, right? Let's say for dinner. You're going to go out. You're going to have a few drinks, and what do you do? You've got 2,000 calories. Well, first of all, don't have a big breakfast. Right, you've only got so many calories for the day. Why would you fill up on breakfast and lunch and just end up over consuming later on the day? Like, take it easy for breakfast. Have a small, light breakfast. Get some training in, and then have a small lunch. Make yourself eat, for example, for lunch. Right, if you know you're going to eat not as much as what you need throughout the day in order to save the calories for the dinner, eat foods that are going to make you feel full. First macronutrient that makes you feel satiated is protein. So high protein, high volume, low calorie lunch. For example, a huge salad, lots of greens and veggies. Okay, vegetables are very low calorie, very high volume. You're going to put a lot of mass into your stomach with little calories. Protein takes a long time to digest, and it's very satiating. So nice bit of protein, nice bit of vegetables. For example, that lunch, right? Morning might be something light, small bowl of oats, or I don't know, some toast with some peanut butter or some fruit, something like a protein shake. So nice, small, 150, 200 calorie breakfast. Nice, big but low calorie lunch. Maybe you've eaten 750, 850 calories throughout the day, saving you 1,250 to 1,150 calories in the 2,000 calorie example for your dinner in the evening. Okay, so you're saving the calories on the day, knowing that you've got an event coming up. And it might be switched the other way around. Breakfast might be your thing. You might wake up and be like, this is it. It's the weekend. It's the breakfast. I'm with my family or my friends or whatever. I'm going to go all out on this breakfast, and then I'm not going to eat hardly for the rest of the day. I might have a small snack before I sleep or something like that, right? So you're choosing your battles on the weekend. You're choosing when you're going to eat the higher calories. Okay, so that's saving calories. Banking calories is the next one. If you know you've got a big event on, let's say, a Friday, and you're going to be over-consuming, why not eat, for example, 200 calories less on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? There you go. You've just banked 600 calories, and doing what I just said with saving you calories on the weekend. Now you've got almost 2,000 calories free to have your dinner, your drinks, or whatever it is you're going to do. So you bank calories before the event, so you can splash out a little bit on the event. This is how you manage your calorie intake, so your weekly average is on point. Okay, so saving calories for the event on the day, banking calories a few days before for the event. That is number 3. And this ties nicely into number 4, which is plan ahead. Plan ahead. So let's use the same example, right? Friday is going to be your event. You've banked some calories Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 200 a day. So you've got 600 in the bank. Then you eat then you wake up on the Friday. You've got your event in the evening. Right. Which restaurant am I going to? Okay, I'm going to whatever, this restaurant, right? Any restaurant. Could be any restaurant in Dubai. Look at the menu. What do you typically eat? What do you typically order from a restaurant? Look at the menu. Maybe you won't eat exactly what you're looking at in the morning, but you just pick a nice meal. You say, oh, this one looks nice. This one looks nice. You figure out the rough calorie intake for those meals, easily done on Google, or just call the restaurant if you really want to be like bang on with it. But let's use Google. Okay, let's do an example just so it's very clear in your mind. Let's say you're going to go to a steak restaurant, and you're going to order 300 grams of ribeye, because that's your favorite ribeye, and you're going to have it with chips or fries, whatever you want to call them. You're going to have a sauce on the side, and then you're going to have a dessert, right? In the morning of the day of, you log your meal for the evening inside MyFitnessPal. So the meal that I just spoke about, let's say, for example, it's got 1,500 calories in it. You've got 2,000 calories for the day, right? 1,500 is going on the meal. You've got 600 in the bank. Can you see how by banking calories before the event, by logging the food I'm going to eat on the day of the event, you are basically making sure that you do not overeat on the weekend. You're still going to have fun and eat whatever you want. Okay, you're not really depriving yourself that much. You're just knocking 200 calories off for 3 days before it, which isn't too bad. You wake up in the morning, before you eat anything, you're just going inside MyFitnessPal and doing a little bit of planning, therefore ensuring that you're going to stay in shape over the weekend. But still having fun, still going out for your meal. And the meal could be whatever, it might be a meal and 5 red wines or 5 beers or whatever. It doesn't matter what the thing is that you like to eat. It's just making sure that you plan ahead and track it. Okay, so that's number 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. Hope that makes sense. By the way, we cover all this stuff in the fight camp as well. FYI. Okay, number 5. Oh, this is a good one. Drink plenty of water. Yeah, this is just a general one as well. A lot of the times when we feel hungry, it's not hunger, it's just thirst. And making sure that you drink an optimal amount of water every day is going to make sure that when you are hungry, like you're like really hungry. And something my wife pointed out recently as well and reminded me of is that when you eat food when you're actually hungry, like stomach hungry, the food tastes so much better. So this is something else to bear in mind. Water intake is individual. I'm going to link up a link to a website where you can actually put in your body weight and your exercise activity, and it will tell you around how much water you should drink per day. I like to tell people it's a minimum of 3 liters per day, regardless of what you're doing, especially if you live in Dubai, all right, and it's the summer and it's hot and we sweat a lot. And then if you exercise on top of that, add a little bit more. But generally, 3 liters, if you haven't tracked your water intake before, it's a good starting point. I know people that drink 5-6 liters a day because they're much bigger and they require more water. Okay, the bigger you are, the more you need. But yeah, click on the link. I'll link up a website there. You can find out how much water that you need, and then you can start tracking your water intake. It's not difficult to do. Like, for example, I've got this water bottle with me today. It's 1 liter, this Boxica water bottle. Okay, fill it up 3 times in a day, and you know you've hit your 3 liters. Okay, track it. Don't guess your water intake. That's number 5. Okay, so how that translates onto the weekend is if you stay hydrated, you're not going to be reaching for the snacks or the food, thinking that you're hungry all the time. You're just going to be eating when you need to eat, not when you're just like bored or you're a little bit thirsty. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, this is a whole podcast in itself, but it needed to be mentioned because we are specifically talking about weekends. It's alcohol. Alcohol intake. Alcohol is a weird one. It's its own macronutrient, okay, and there's 7 calories per gram, and it doesn't do anything. It just makes you feel high, and it is like poison for the body. As much as you enjoy it sometimes, you are poisoning the body. That's why you feel drunk and you can't focus and everything, right? You're poisoning yourself. But hey, alcohol is a part of our culture, and I do drink sometimes, a lot less now than previously, but now and again a little bit of alcohol, and it's something that can really impact your goals on the weekend, 100%. So we need to talk about a little bit here. Tips for alcohol intake on the weekend. First of all, plan it just like you plan your food. Okay, if you're going to have a few drinks in the night, you know that's something that you're going to be doing. Log it in the app. Okay, let's say for example you're going to have 5 beers, right? 5 bottles of Peroni or whatever it is you want. Log it in the app in the morning of, so you've accounted for those excess calories that you're going to consume, and then you can make up for it throughout the day, right? You can just eat a little bit less so you can have them fairly guilt-free. I say fairly guilt-free because alcohol does impact your body's ability to metabolize fat, so it is going to impact your progress a little bit, but you're minimizing the impacts of alcohol by making sure you don't overconsume when you have them. Another tip is clear spirits have less calories. So like tequila, vodka, stuff like this, spirits do have less calories than things like cocktails and wine and beers and stuff like this, right? So if you want more alcohol, bang for your buck, you're better off with a vodka or tequila or something like this. There's so many different spirits. Gin is another low-calorie one. Okay, you can do your research and find out. The next one is, this is a big one actually, in the alcohol, is drink 1 glass of water for every drink, right? The same amount. So if you have a pint of beer, after it drink a pint of water. Pint of beer, pint of water, pint of beer, pint of water. Do that. It's going to minimize, it's going to help keep you hydrated because alcohol is very dehydrating. It's going to minimize how much alcohol you can actually drink because you're drinking the water in between it, right? You can drink less alcohol when you've got more water to drink as well. It's going to minimize the headaches in the morning that you get. It's going to make you feel much better in the morning if you do drink a lot of water. And I'll give you an example. We went for the Boxica social. I said I wasn't drinking to myself and my wife 1,000 times, but I ended up drinking, I don't know how many beers I had, maybe 7 or 8 beers, which is a ton for me, right? 2 or 3 would have done the job perfectly. But anyway, it happens. I had 1.5 liters of water after the session, like during the end, in the place that we were in, and then got home and drank another I would say, liter. So I had like 2.5 liters of water. Given I was peeing a lot in the night and it was quite uncomfortable. However, woke up in the morning, didn't feel too bad. Yeah, didn't have a headache, because this is someone that doesn't drink that often as well. And yeah, 7 or 8 beers, I'm sure a lot of you out there, that's just a warm-up session. So you can imagine the impact that the alcohol has, in terms of dehydration. And this water intake when you're drinking carries over to the next day as well. If you got a clear head, you feel like, let's say for example, you stuck to just one clear spirit like vodka, you didn't go with the wines or the cocktails or anything like that, you didn't have any silly shots of tequila, you just stick with your vodka. It's low calorie, you're drinking it with soda water as well, so you actually got some water in with the vodka as well. You are drinking a glass of water after every alcoholic drink. You drink another liter of water, when you finish drinking, like on the way home and when you get home. You're waking up in the morning, you're not feeling too bad. You're feeling alright, so you've got more control over what you consume the next day as well, because I do know that alcohol makes you eat crap the day after, right? You feel like you need that high-fat, greasy food or sugary food, whatever it is. Minimize that by staying on top of your hydration during the session, so the next day you can feel better and make better decisions. That's number 5. Moving on. Oh, that was number 6, sorry. Moving on to number 7. Big one as well. Huge. Don't carry your overeating into days, right? Being very strict on your diet and eating like super healthy foods all the time, I mean, if you can do that, it's fine, but I don't know anyone that does that. Now and again, you're going to have a little splurge and a little treat here and there. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Don't feel bad about having, food that you love to eat sometimes. The way this impacts you on the weekend is if you have something you like. Let's say, for example, on a Friday, right? You've done your calorie banking, you've saved calories for the evening, you've done everything possible, you've trained a load, you've stayed hydrated throughout the day, you've done everything right, but guess what? You still went crazy and you overate by 3,000 calories, right? 3,000 calories over, even though you've done all the steps that I told you and you still went crazy. Your best friend was there, you ate two full pizzas and you had 15 beers and you just went crazy. That's one day of going crazy, okay? And that's much better than 2 days of going crazy. And this thing people have in their mind is, they wake up on a Saturday or the second day of the weekend, they're like, you know what? I went crazy yesterday, I may as well go crazy today. This is the most insane thought ever. Why would you think it's okay to have 2 days? Why is 2 days just as the same as 1 day? It's not. 1 day of going crazy and overeating is much better than 2. And 2 is much better than 3. Keep to 1 day, right? If you do slip up, make it a slip up with 1 day. Wake up the next morning. Don't feel bad. Just say, you know what? Yeah, I overconsumed some calories yesterday. Today I'm going to be on point. That way you're minimizing the long-term effects of it, right? If you can just keep it into 1 day of bad eating, it's much better than 2 days. Okay, and it's much, much, much better than 3 days. So bear that in mind, guys. This is a big one. Honestly, I've seen it so many times. Yeah, well, I had this, and then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go crazy now, whatever. I've had this, so I may as well have this, this, and this, and I may as well do this, and I may as well do that. And by the time Sunday or Monday comes around, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, you've got 3 weeks worth of work now to get back to where you were on the Wednesday, instead of just doing a couple of days of being on your diet and just, being fine. So don't carry over into days. Pick your day. Do everything you can. Hey, if life happens, you end up overeating by, thousands of calories, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just get back onto it the very next day. Okay, and then start making progress from there. Minimizing the bad effects of that one weekend day, rather than just carrying it over into day after day, which is 20 times worse, right? Number 8. Okay, swiftly getting through these. Yeah, well, this is very similar to the I just touched on it on the previous. Allow one untracked meal if you are on track generally. So you've had 5 or 6 good days of the week. You're on your calories. You've eaten healthy food, and the weekend comes, allow yourself a meal which is not tracked and higher calories and something that you really want to eat, right? Actually, this ties into my next point as well. There's like 3 points in one. Number 7, 8, and 9. Number 9 is 90% healthy and 10% junk. Number 8 is allow one untracked meal. Number 7 is don't carry on into days. So I'm going to talk about all the rest of them in one. You've eaten super healthy throughout the week. It's the weekend. Don't feel like you don't deserve or you can't have some junk food, right? Or whatever it is that you want to eat. Whatever it is. Could be alcohol. Could be some desserts. Could be like just a solid big meal. It could be 5 shawarma wraps. Whatever it is, you can have that. Don't feel bad for having it. Like, enjoy yourself a little bit as well. 90% healthy. I always tell people 90% healthy, 10% junk. 10% of your diet should be like whatever you want. This has been shown to keep you on track long term because you don't feel like you're depriving yourself. You don't feel like you're on a diet. You're eating foods that you love, and therefore you're adhering to the program over the long term. Adherence is huge, right? If you're not on a diet, then you're just eating. You're overeating and you're gaining weight. The most important thing is staying on track. That consistency over the long term, and you do that by allowing some junk food here and there. So on the weekend, don't feel like you have to eat, like I said, chicken breast and broccoli all weekend. You don't. Plan ahead of time. Have food that you love. Feel satisfied. Enjoy yourself with your friends, your family, or whatever, and then the next day get back to it. This 10% junk is going to allow you to stay on track over the long term. Example, right? So let's use the 2,000 calories a day example, and you say, Sunday to Thursday, let's say four days of the week. One day you had some junk because like midweek you're feeling a bit tired. You had some ice cream or whatever, or some donuts or whatever it was, some pizza, and so you've got 200 calories a day, which is 10% of your diet, right? 2,000 calorie diet, 10% is 200 calories. Sunday, Monday was all healthy, didn't have any junk. Wednesday, Thursday was all healthy. Tuesday you had a little bit because, like I said, midweek you feel like you wanted it. So 2, 4, 6, 800 calories you've banked of non-junk. You still ate all your calories those days, for example, but you didn't eat any junk. So you've allowed 800 calories by the time the weekend comes around, plus 200 for the Friday, so that's 1,000 calories of junk that you're allowed to eat, which is separate to the deficit calories that we're talking about, the maintenance calories. This is just regardless to health and junk. You've allowed yourself to eat more junk on the weekend because you've stayed more healthy throughout the week. Some people like to say, no, I'm going to have my 200 per day as a guide because that's going to help me. Every day I get to eat 200 calories of whatever I want. Ice cream, junk, like I said, donuts or whatever. So there's a couple of different ways of doing the 90% healthy, 10% junk. One is eating the 10% junk every single day and just doing that. And one is saving the 10% and having them all in one day. Okay? So that's another strategy for staying on track over the weekend. Enjoying the weekend, right? And enjoying yourself and feeling like you're allowed to eat whatever you want. Because really you can eat whatever you want. It's just the quantities we're looking at. Okay, hope that makes sense. Number 10, last but not least. Oh, this is another big one. Stay away from situations or people that cause overeating. Oof, let that sink in. When you start this new lifestyle of getting in shape and living this healthy lifestyle, I say it all the time, if you are a fit and healthy person, you will look fit and healthy. So your lifestyle has to be that fit and healthy life, right? Which is in the exercise, the nutrition, the sleep, the recovery, everything. Your friends, your habits, right? Do you go to the bar after work or do you go to the gym after work? Okay. Having people and situations around you that encourage that fit, healthy lifestyle and not the negative lifestyle, right? Claire was talking a lot about this in her podcast as well when she was talking about her life and the people she was hanging around with and the things she was doing and that unhealthy environment, and she changed it to the healthy environment, and her lifestyle changed. and a body changed and a health changed mentally and physically with it. So this is what I'm talking about. If you know that you have a friend, for example, that likes to go out and drink 20 pints of Stella on the weekend, you're going to meet that friend. Guess what you're going to end up doing? Or you're going to feel bad, or it's just going to be an awkward situation, or you'll end up having 10 pints instead of 20, but you'll still be in that environment. Having food in the cupboards in your house, right? Having them there, which you can just easily go in and take out and start chewing on, that is not really on your, on your plan. Like I'm not saying don't have any snacks and treats in the cupboards. Like I have snacks and treats in the cupboards, but being in a situation, if you know that if you have something in the cupboard and you're just going to eat the whole packet, for example, the biscuits or Oreos or whatever, if it's there, don't have it there. Don't give yourself that opportunity to have it. Same thing with the friends, same thing with the situations, same thing with what you're planning to do on the weekend to relax. Keep in mind that fit and healthy choices and lifestyle is going to have you looking fit and healthy. Okay, so I'm not saying like just delete all your friends' contacts tomorrow that you hang around with, but slowly but surely make sure that the people around you are in the same sort of mindset as you, and that is going to help you stay on track over the weekends as well. Big one. Okay guys, I love a recap. We're going to get into it. Recap of my 10 points. Number 1 is track your calorie intake. You have to know how many calories you need and how many calories that you're eating in order to stay in shape. Okay, most people need to know. Number 2, move more on the weekends. Plan activities, get more steps in, get yourself booked in at Boxica, do a class Saturday, 12 rounds, a 1 hour class instead of a 50-minute class. You're going to burn more calories. Okay, stuff like this. Number 3, save your calories for the event that you've planned. Bank your calories a few days before, allowing you to have more calories on the day. Number 4, plan ahead. Okay, log your food into MyFitnessPal before you go out. Log it in the morning on the event of the day or whatever it is you're doing to make sure that you have accounted for all the calories that you're going to eat. And by the way, Google's really good for that. If you don't know how many calories in a 300-gram ribeye, for example, make sure you Google it because it has a lot of calories, and make sure that you take into account all the oils and butters and stuff that they use in restaurants as well. Okay, that's something that usually people forget about. If it tastes really good, it means there's probably something in there that is high in calories, right? That's a general statement, but you know what I mean. Number 5, drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated over the weekend. This is going to help you minimize that snacking and things that you usually do when, a lot of the time, we know that when people feel hungry, they're not, they're just thirsty or dehydrated. Number 6, alcohol. If you're going to drink alcohol, make sure you drink 1 water after every drink. Clear spirits is lower in calories, so you get more bang for your buck. And make sure you track your intake. Okay, it has calories, 7 calories per gram. Number 7, number 7, 8, and 9. Don't carry over into days. Keep it for 1 day only. Okay, it's much better than overeating 2 days or 3 days. Way better. 8, allow 1 untracked meal a week. Allow yourself that freedom to eat what you want. It's 1 meal. You can do it. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. How many meals do you have in a week? It's just 1. Don't track it. Eat it. Enjoy it. And you'll be okay. And number 9 is 90% healthy, 10% junk. If you keep 90% of your diet healthy, natural foods that come from the earth, okay, you are going to feel better. Your health is going to be good, but also allowing 10% to be junk to help keep you on track long term. Okay, super important. So 90% healthy, 10% junk. Either eat the 10% every single day, in the example of the 2,000 calorie diet, eat 200 calories a day of junk, or save it up and have more on the weekend. By the way, this 90%, 10% thing doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's just a guide. Some days, or some weeks, you might eat 40% junk for a whole week, but you're still within your calories. You're feeling a bit sluggish and a bit like, oof, I've had a little bit too much junk here. So the next week you go back and you go back to your 10%, 90%. Okay, it doesn't have to be, these are just guides to help you, right? Don't have to be like super anal with it. Last but not least, 10, stay away from situations or people that cause overeating. Huge. Okay? They say that you are one of the 5 people that you hang around with and talk to the most. make sure you're around people that influence the healthy lifestyle, not the unhealthy lifestyle. Guys, thank you for listening. I've gone through those steps. Any questions on any of this, please hit me up. Looking forward to the next episode. I will be linking 2 things in the show notes, just as a reminder. 1 will be your calorie calculations. 2 will be how much water you need to drink per day for optimal hydration. Thank you, guys. Speak to you next time.